let's talk about Uranus and the X-rays from Uranus. They're coming from Uranus. So the planet is sending us X-rays, okay? But before we talk about what the X-rays are or what they're from, I'm going to talk about Uranus for a little bit. Just what it is. Check this out. This is from NASA. This is solarsystem.nasa.gov. You could check this out. It's got all the different planets. It's really cool. You get a nice, awesome overview of Uranus here with its different moons circling it. There they are. It shows them all. And, I mean, you got to zoom out for a while. This is its path. All right, there you got Neptune in the background. There's Pluto. I'm going to keep zooming back. There's Saturn, Jupiter. There's the center. I mean, this thing's pretty far. This thing's pretty far out there. You know, it's kind of on the outskirts, if you will. And it's the 7th planet, so it's pretty out there. There's some cool facts about Uranus. Uranus is known as the sideways planet because it rotates on its side. It was discovered in 1781 by William Herschel. It was the first planet found using a telescope. It's an ice giant, nearly 4 times larger than Earth. It has 27 known moons, most of which are named after literary characters. Like Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune, Uranus is a ringed planet. It's pretty cool. For a long time, I thought only Saturn was ringed, but then I learned about Neptune, which I really like Neptune a lot. I might actually do a little bit more onto Neptune eventually. Hey, you know what? Maybe all the planets, because this is cool. I love learning about, this is our solar system. They're our planetary neighbors. You know, we should know more about them. But anyway, Uranus is a ringed planet. The first planet found with the aid of a telescope, Uranus was discovered in 1781 by astronomer William Herschel, although he originally thought it was a comet or a star. It was 2 years later that the object was universally accepted as a new planet, in part because of the observations by astronomer Johann Alert Bode. Herschel tried unsuccessfully to name his discovery Georgium Sidus after King George III. Instead, the scientific community accepted Bode's suggestion to name it Uranus, the Greek god of the sky, as suggested by Bode. And here is a beautiful picture of Uranus. And I'm going to scroll. There's a couple nice shots here. Look at that. That is just one. It reminds me of a cue ball. I guess that's the rings there. Let's see. The false color view of the rings of Uranus was made from the images taken by Voyager 2, January 22nd, 1986, from the distance of 4.17 million kilometers or 2.59 million miles. It's beautiful. Awesome. And then here, let's see. What are these cool facts? It kind of goes into more, well, let's just read about it. Yeah, it's huge, 4 times wider than Earth. If Earth were a large apple, Uranus would be the size of a basketball. That's pretty cool. It orbits the sun, a star, and is the 7th planet from the sun at a distance of about 1.8 billion miles. Uranus takes about 17 hours to rotate once, a Uranian day, and about 84 Earth years to complete an orbit of the sun, a Uranian year. It's an ice giant. Most of its mass is a hot, dense fluid of icy materials, water, methane, and ammonia, above a small rocky core. It has an atmosphere made of mostly molecular hydrogen and atomic helium, and a small amount of methane. It has 27 moons, which is pretty great. I didn't know that it had that many moons. And they're named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. It has 13 known rings. The inner rings are narrow and dark, and the outer rings are brightly colored. Let's see, Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft to fly by Uranus. No spacecraft have orbited this distant planet to study it at length and up close. Uranus cannot support life as we know it, right? As we know it. A lot of people were commenting on my segment yesterday about Titan, the moon of Saturn, because it has methane oceans and ethane oceans, and it's pretty cool. Well, and lakes and stuff. And they were like, well, you know, the life has to have oxygen, and it's okay. That's life as we know it, right? I know that people are saying it's a it's a must. You have to have oxygen. It's like, yeah, that we know it, so that we know of. Anyway, I love that the planet actually doesn't rotate east to west, but it rotates on its side, and it always kind of bugged me a little bit because it's space, right? So what is, how do you determine, is it just in relation to the sun? So if you're spinning around the sun and it's spinning this way, is that why? Because if you see it by itself, technically you just tilt your head and it's space. There is no up and down out in space, right? So I guess it's just in relation to the sun. That's what they go by. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just spinning, baby. It's got its own spin. I'm cool with that. But I think it's a beautiful planet, and I really like it. But let's talk about the X-rays coming from Uranus. All right, this is pretty cool. For the first time, scientists find X-rays coming from Uranus. Okay, let's read about it. The study published in the Journal of Geophysical Research on Wednesday examined two visuals of the planet taken by the Chandra Observatory in 2002 and 2017. The first observation revealed a clear detection of X-rays, and the second revealed a possible flare of X-rays on the ice giant, a planet mainly composed of elements heavier than hydrogen and helium. The culprit may be the sun, NASA said on its website. I don't know what that means, but the agency said there are tantalizing hints that at least one other source of X-rays is present. One possibility is that the rings of Uranus are producing X-rays themselves, which is the case for Saturn's rings, the agency said. Another possibility is that at least some of the X-rays come from auroras on Uranus, a phenomenon that has previously been observed on this planet at other wavelengths. X-rays can offer unique insights into the characteristics of the solar system. For Uranus, the authors said those characteristics can include atmospheric surface and planetary ring composition. Astronomers have previously observed scattered X-ray lights given off by the sun on both Jupiter and Saturn, but not on the ice giants Uranus and Neptune, according to NASA. The agency said the planet was particularly interesting because of its unusual orientations of its spin axis and its magnetic field. NASA said determining the sources of the X-rays from Uranus could help astronomers better understand how more mysterious objects in space emit X-rays, including growing black holes and neutron stars. Uranus, about 4 times the diameter of Earth, is the 7th planet from the Sun. It is distinctly known for its 2 sets of rings around its equator and its side rotation, making it unique among other planets in the solar system. I think Uranus is distinctly known for its name more than its side tilt and rings. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. Everyone, I see the simple amount of Uranus jokes in my chat right now tells me that it's not its spin, its side axis, or its rings, or its composition, or any of that. It's the name alone that is why it is known. You can't tell me I'm wrong. You know it's true. You know it's true. I see all these. There's even a bunch of super chats that we're going to read about that basically have to, and everyone's saying that I'm. Someone said Uranus is famous on OnlyFans. There's probably a hashtag for that somewhere. Who knows? But yeah, it is what it is. Some people say that I'm pronouncing it wrong. You can pronounce it however you want. I say Uranus because I like the way that sounds, and I don't I don't like the way other people pronounce it as the joke would go. Anyway, so that's that. Krigler coffee, delicious.